Gunning. We're back.
We are back.
In the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but we made it. We actually made it back. I didn't think I was going to make it through COVID.
I didn't think I'd get COVID. I think I'd lose my mind. I had to grow my hair like Charles Manson. Nearly started a cult, but we're here.
I actually thought of all people, the most immune compromised would be jiu-jitsu guys and grapplers. I'm kidding. God, if you get everyone's blood, sweat and tears in your system, I think we could suffer a bit of flu symptoms. We'll be okay.
So, how you been finding it? How you been finding lockdown era, training around it, and all the bullshit that goes with it?
Do you know what? I was okay till this morning, and then I woke up and, like a moron, put BBC News on, and they're on about potentially going into another full-on lockdown. And it just completely sapped the pep out my step. But
it spoiled Halloween more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I'm sick to death of it. I've sort of just got back into a routine where I'm lifting weights regularly again.
Yeah.
Obviously, me and you have been doing a little bit of rolling. Snitches get stitches.
Rule of 6, bitch.
Yeah, it's definitely not socially distanced jiu-jitsu, but it's impossible to do. But for mental health, for me, getting back on the mats at my house and just getting some rounds in with you has been an absolute lifesaver. But going back to the point, just getting back into the routine of lifting weights. I'm working with Aaron Davies now. He's put a program. We'll talk a bit more about that later in the podcast. But just getting back into the routine of things. And now all of a sudden this morning you wake up and it's
doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom again, yeah. And just on the day that we thought, we'll record another podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Hey, BBC, fuck you. Yeah. You're still carrying on.
But other than that, I'm doing okay. What about yourself?
All good. You know, like you say, it's refreshing to be getting some rounds in at yours. Grease the wheels, so to speak. A lot of kettlebells, a lot of gravel biking.
Yeah.
But yeah, just took the wind out of my sails a little bit this morning. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. Just got to keep focusing on the positives, doing what we can do, and we will get through this bullshit.
Yeah, it's been a really strange 6 months, or almost best part of a year now. I mean, when did we go into lockdown? February, March?
23rd of March.
And that was proper lockdown. That was
proper lockdown.
Yeah, so we did...
Cell block B sort of lockdown.
Yeah. I sort of managed 4 weeks of proper lockdown in which we didn't see each other. Yeah. I didn't socialise with anyone. I was just at home the entire time. I would go running and do some kettlebells in the garage.
Yeah.
And that was it. I think I gained about 1 stone.
I did that and got really fucking good at Doom.
Yeah.
Like if you want demons slayed in elaborate ways,
you were the guy.
I'm the guy, but not so much now.
Yeah. So that first 4 weeks adhered to it, was like, okay, this could be something. And then as soon as I sort of cut through the bullshit, it was like, wait a minute, this isn't nearly as scary as what people are making it out to be. Especially with the most people, 99.9% of people are okay.
They're sailing through it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel for the people that have been affected and negatively impacted, and the people that are sick, and obviously I'd be absolutely devastated if I lost a family member to COVID.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't put your entire life on hold for flu-like symptoms.
I feel worse for the people that have lost livelihoods, businesses, houses, through the economic stress of it, as opposed to someone who got a sniffly nose.
Yeah, and the other effects it's had, like cancer patients not getting treatment, and like what we sort of touched upon it, the effects it's having on people's mental health. Like, me being one of them, I didn't realise how social I was until I couldn't socialise. Now, I'm not someone who goes to the pub. I don't go out drinking. My recreational activities are working out at the gym and jiu-jitsu, grappling, MMA, all those things.
The church of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I didn't realise, not talking to you guys for like... I mean, we all spoke. We went on Zoom chat and things of that nature, which sort of got us through. But I didn't realise how much I rely on the social aspect of jiu-jitsu, being part of that team that we have. That, for me, was probably bigger than the impact of physically not doing any sparring, physically not doing anything. I didn't realise how much I sort of realised that I needed people around me. Not just like to positively reinforce, almost to take the piss and actually...
vent.
Yeah. And also mock you. Like one thing for me is, my friends and yourself included, we all rip the shit out of each other at all times. It's very rare that it's like a pep talk. Do you know what I mean? It's more like, man up, get on with it. And I know that whole man up thing's a cliche, but I like being take the piss out of. It's humbling to me.
You have to have a blend of it. You have to have like a little bit of support and then the shit that goes with it.
Precisely.
And that's what like our team is very, very good at. Like people will give you good, solid advice to act on, but then take the piss out of it.
Exactly.
And you need the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
And it's that for me, like the hardest thing, apart from not putting a gi on, has been the venting and dealing with that up there, because it's felt confined and like everything's been dealt with yourself and being able to just vent and talk to people at the gym has been absolutely instrumental in sort of getting through it all. Yeah.
I mean, work was good. We're in an industry in which we're sort of protected as key workers, and we supply the NHS and prisons and stuff like that. So I'm one of the lucky people that's job won't be affected by COVID.
Yeah, same. I managed to work all the way through it.
For all the people, like especially in the leisure and fitness industry, I know PTs that have been successful in what they do for 5-10 years, and all of a sudden they're stacking shelves at Tesco's because they can't make ends meet.
It's fucked.
And especially, talking about COVID and specifically the effect it's having on the leisure industry in gyms and MMA gyms. There are big gyms, like especially in the capital, that are going to be screwed.
Yeah, I mean, just like you say, big name gyms with big name instructors. I don't think they've been able to do anything through all of this.
Yeah, I know there's been some gyms that have sort of flown under the radar and that have done like some what they call social bubble sparring. Like, so you enter a bubble with say 2 of your friends and you guys train together. And I actually think that's quite a good approach.
Yeah, the elite status thing.
Yeah, if that's all you can get away with doing, then do it. But I actually don't think gyms should be affected. There was the gym up in Liverpool, wasn't there, that everyone sort of rallied behind. I gave on their Just Giving page. And the People's Gym, hats off to those people.
Yeah.
For sticking 2 fingers up at the establishment and saying, we're staying open.
Yeah.
Their statistics they raised, they were almost educating the government on using the government's own numbers.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that potentially they could have lost their entire livelihoods over that, and they were willing to risk that to prove a point, and point proven. I hope with this next lockdown, if it does come into effect, I hope it doesn't, but on Wednesday, if we do go into a second lockdown, I hope they leave gyms and the leisure industry open.
So counterintuitive to go, we want people to be healthy, close gyms.
Yeah. Keep pubs open.
Yeah.
Keep pubs open, bring it at a 10 o'clock curfew so everyone leaves the pubs at the same time.
Goes to Tesco's Express.
Yeah.
Other shops are available. Yeah. Buys a load of booze, and then, to quote Billy Clark Sr., goes and chills out in someone's kitchen.
Precisely, yeah. But close gyms. Close the reason that... Well, not the reason. Close the possibility of people combating obesity, combating the health issues that lead to the complications with COVID-19. For me, it's ridiculous, and it's getting worse. More people seem to be, the cliche word is woke, but waking up to a lot of the bullshit. We had a conversation this morning, didn't we, over coffee with Ash and
our very own Alex Jones.
Yeah, and he is almost like a political activist when it comes to COVID-19. But all his points were valid. There wasn't anything he said in that entire, how long were we talking? 30, 40 minutes?
Yeah, you can't fault him.
That was incorrect. He was dead on with everything. So, like I said, if they need to close pubs and restaurants for a while, as much as, again, I think that's ridiculous, they're the places you should shut. They went from saying eat out to help out to
don't eat out.
Don't eat out. Or like you get £10 towards a Mackie D's and then it was a 10 grand fine for going there. It's so hypocritical and so counterintuitive. Like the Swedes have sort of done it right in a way. Those Swedes, those damn Swedes.
Those handsome bastards.
Yeah, they've done it really well, but I don't know. I'm sort of rambling on. I'm not into politics. I'm not a political activist, but I don't like it when my freedoms are taken away, especially when those freedoms aren't negatively impacting people.
Yeah.
I don't socialise in massive groups. I don't go to pubs. I don't go to restaurants very often. I have date night once a month with the other half. Other than that, we sort of keep ourselves to ourselves, other than things that, for me, improve mental health, improve your physical capability, improve your immune system and your ability to fight off nasty diseases and infections and bacteria. So just let those people carry on. It's not fair.
I think you should be allowed to roll your own dice.
Yeah, I agree. So moving forward, we're back. that was a long rant about COVID. But we're back. We're back in the driver's seat. We're going to, obviously, as soon as we can, get back to grappling and martial arts fully. At the moment, we're not able to do that, but James and I are rolling and still getting some rounds in. We still met up with some of the Mad Hatters, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just had, we have coffees, and Jack held a barbecue in the summer, socially distanced barbecue, which was great. We had the baby shower. You got your juicy perp.
Juiciest.
Finally, I can't give you shit for not being a purple belt any longer. So yeah, you got your purple belt. There are other. Who else got graded?
Peter, well-deserved brown.
Yeah, he's joined the Dutty Brown group.
Dutty Brown.
And Mardell got his well-deserved black belt.
It was nice. It was a nice moment seeing him get it.
Yeah, and the shape he's got into this year. Of all the people that have been negatively impacted by COVID, he's thrived.
He looks like he should be on the front of GQ.
Yeah. FHM's sexiest men.
I think he might be next month.
Yeah.
Front of GQ.
West Sussex edition.
Yeah.
But he's done really well. And for him to get his black belt, I mean, he's been grappling, 12 years now?
Alec, purple belt as well.
Alec got his purple belt.
Greg.
Yeah.
And Becky and Sabrina.
Yeah, got blue belts.
Tasty Blues.
Tasty Blues. Tasty Blues, Dutty Browns, and Juicy Perps.
Juicy Perps.
We actually don't have many white belts left at Mad Hatters. When the gym reopens and everyone can come back and train, it's just going to be coloured belts across the mat.
It's murderer's row, mate.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
It's good.
I mean, obviously, Jack gave those out because they were overdue. We wanted to give them out at Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we went into lockdown. So I think it was just an opportunity for everyone to meet up, and he obviously gave out some grades.
Socially distanced barbecues.
That were well overdue. So moving forward, what are your goals? What are you going to be doing?
Just keep, as soon as I can,
keep plugging away.
Sharpening the blades.
Are you doing much strength and conditioning at the moment?
Fair bit of kettlebells, so like strength conditioning workouts with it, but there is a new 24-hour gym opening soon.
Or not opening, depending on what happens.
Depending on what happens. And I will look to do probably 2 nights a week of just compound lifts.
Yeah.
Just doing that. And then, honestly, all I want to do is focus on my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Just keep sharpening the blade, throwing myself in the deep end, getting smashed to bits by Jack, Mardell, you, Peter, and just keep whittling away.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I'm taking strength and conditioning. I call it strength and conditioning. I'm taking it a lot more seriously this year than what I ever have done. I've always lifted weights and sort of written myself little programs to stay in moderate shape. But this year especially, I hooked up with Aaron Davies, who's a local PT. Deals with a lot of rugby players and a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. And
big boy, ain't he?
Yeah, he's a fucking lump, quite frankly. he's a big guy. And started working with him. And the first sort of conversation we had, it wasn't necessarily about big biceps or increasing my lifts, or do you know what I mean? It wasn't that cliche. I want to have six-pack abs in 6 weeks.
In a photo with Wayne Lineker at Ocean Beach. Yeah,
it wasn't any of that. When I first spoke to Aaron, he said, right, what are your goals? And my first conversation with him was injury prevention. Was because as soon as I stopped doing jiu-jitsu in those 4 weeks, my body had never hurt so much in my life. But all these injuries crept out, and I was
our first rolls.
Oh, mate.
I was fucked.
Yeah, after one roll. It was a death roll. It wasn't like one 15-minute round.
15-minute round, but I felt it for 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All of a sudden, all these ailments came out. Like I had a bad shoulder. My back went I was like a paraplegic. Like honestly, you know, like you see the pensioners walking down the street and they're all hunched over. I felt like that every day I woke up. My knee was busted.
Yeah, my knee went back to square one.
Yeah, I felt like absolute shit. And so when I got in contact with Aaron, I said, I just want to loosen up a bit to start with and like sort of get back to almost like a level playing field, because I've gone from rolling, doing jiu-jitsu and lifting weights in saunas and steam rooms every day, and as soon as I've taken my foot off the gas, all this stuff's caught up with me.
Yeah.
So we started from literally scratch, and it was bend over, touch your toes, stretches every day. There were no compound lifts, it was all body weight. So it was weighted chin-ups or like press-ups with a weight vest on.
Yeah. Some
light kettlebells, some very, very basic lifts. Things like farmer's walks and suitcase carries were big. I mean,
applicable shit.
Precisely, yeah. Building a good foundation to then build upon everything else. And now, like I say, it's sort of just got in the swing of things. I'm now back deadlifting 150 kilos again. And 150 kilos might not sound like much, but I put my back out last year deadlifting.
Yeah.
So to me, 150 kilos is a really good amount.
150 kilos is still 150 kilos.
Yeah, it's respectable, but my goal is by the end of, I was going to say 2020, but this year's gone. So I would say by the middle of 2021 is to be getting up to 180.
Yeah.
If I can add 30 kilos to that, I'll be chuffed.
That's a good time frame to do it as well.
Yeah.
It's not like rushing.
Yeah. And I think also I want to improve my bench press is pretty good. I'm quite strong in the chest, but my shoulders are torn to bits. As you know, I've got a real terrible rotator cuff on my right shoulder. So I'd like to focus on those. He's very good at keeping me focused on one goal at a time. So it's like, right, at the moment, we'll get your deadlift up.
Yeah.
We'll work on these other things, but we're not focusing on those other things.
No, it's small eatable chunks.
Yeah. Digest this, then we'll add this, then we'll add this, then we'll add this. And
not try and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And the workouts are awesome. Like, really good. Every time I do one of his sessions, and it's all mapped out for me on True Coach, it's brilliant. I'll come away and I'm like, I can see how that is applicable, one, to the goals that I've given him, but two, even jiu-jitsu. The lifts I'm doing, the explosive movements, the plyometric sessions, I can see how they're all adaptable for what I'm doing.
Yeah, usable in grappling.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. That's the difference.
Trains himself a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or used to?
Used to, obviously, before lockdown. I don't think he's a colour-graded belt. I think he was just sort of getting into it before lockdown hit. But he knows enough that he knows how he can apply his profession to that hobby. Yeah. So for me, it's been an absolute lifesaver. Like yourself, I'm just going to sort of continue with that if the gyms stay open, and then focus on. I haven't competed at brown belt yet. I've been brown belt. I'll be at brown belt a year this year.
A year December, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's on that.
But obviously because of COVID, there's been zero comps. I haven't competed once at brown belt.
I'm looking forward to comps.
Me too.
Really am.
I can't imagine when they're going to do it, especially grappling. Because it's not really a spectator sport anyway. It is more for the people competing. But 200 people in a sports hall across 6 mats, when's that going to
and you can't even contain it, because if you have an absolute division, everyone goes, I'll fucking have a go.
Yeah. So when's that going to come back?
Don't know.
No one knows. Even MMA shows are struggling. The UFC have been able to put on shows. Bellator have just started up again, and Cage Warriors done a fantastic trilogy weekend the other week. But other than that, like, one of the... we got some questions on the podcast this week, and one of the questions on there was, when do you think local shows are going to return? Wish I knew, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, especially with commentary gigs, we were quite fortunate that we were commentating on a couple of shows, and I was set up to commentate on Shock and Awe this year.
That was all lined up.
And it's all gone under.
All stuff like Battle Grapple, everything. It's all just... When's it going to come back?
I know Almighty are doing a show, hopefully, in 4 weeks in Liverpool. It's behind closed doors, PPV only, so there's no crowd. But Ash Kilburton's meant to be fighting on it.
Hopefully it happens.
Yeah, and Lexi Rook, actually. I know Lexi Rook's fighting for a bantamweight title on it. So, that'd be brilliant. That'd be a great fight as well. So,
the podcast is back.
Yeah.
And we've got some news associated with it.
Yeah, so... We're now, as you can tell, James is wearing some beautiful merch.
Some tasty merch.
We're in association with Gym Buddy. To give you a little breakdown of Gym Buddy, almost like a sales pitch. Gym Buddy are an app that work in line with lots of gyms across the UK, mainly in the south at the moment, but they're sort of branching into London, in which if you don't want to be a member of a single gym, you sign up to Gym Buddy and you can almost use all the gyms that are signed up for one membership. They've also just... That's how it started, but now it's sort of...
becoming more, isn't it?
Yeah. It's sort of evolved into more of a community now. Like, even tracking workouts from home during lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, Dan, who sort of started the thing, he was a member of Strava, and he was like mapping his runs and all this thing, and then they started charging him to map his runs, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, I'll just add that to the Gym Buddy.
My own one,
Yeah, so they're called Gym Buddy the Fitness Network, and they really are creating a movement. It's growing every week. They're getting more and more members. They're getting people that are associating themselves with Gym Buddy. They've got influencers on board. Like, it's becoming a big thing.
You've got a fair few athletes sort of wearing their stuff.
And I was so happy when they approached us and said, like, sort of collaborating and doing something together. So moving on in the future, I think we'll be the Asylum Podcast and we'll be in association with Gym Buddy, but I think we'll be attending events with them and sort of
having chats with people.
And talking to their athletes, and it'll open some more doors for us in that they've got professional boxers, footballers, rugby players, bare knuckle fighters that are all sort of in association with Gym Buddy, so we can perhaps get some of them on the show. It'll be more people to talk to and branch out a bit more. Sponsors. We've got Fit Stuff.
Yep.
Which is workout equipment from home, which is really, really good equipment. I've got some hexagonal dumbbells from them.
I need to get some swag from them.
Yeah, they're really, really good. Good quality equipment.
Well made, well
maintained, and also it's not. You can break the bank, especially when lockdown started.
Oh yeah, I mean the kettlebells you have to get a mortgage for.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Whereas this, it's affordable and it's really, really good quality equipment. Honestly, it's got to be one of them things that people get their hands on and then they use it. It's frustrating, you know. Obviously, when you buy something from a website, you don't really know how good it's going to be until it turns up. But it is really, really good stuff.
We won't sell you shit.
No, it is really good stuff. Then we've got
Plant the Seed CBD.
Yeah, which is Lewis Benson's company.
Lewis Benson's start-up CBD company.
I mean, this is more you. I use supplements. I don't use CBD, but
so
you'll know more about it than I do.
I'm going to get more on the CBD bandwagon. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that I've been speaking to recently who have, you know, they tried it for a bit, but now they've gone down the rabbit hole, and their results are proving just unbelievable. People,
for anti-inflammatory purposes, especially for combat athletes, it's second to none. There's a reason that the CBD industry is so big at the moment, especially with combat sports, jiu-jitsu, judo. All these people are using CBD oils.
Even if you're not into combat sports, like even just the benefits of your sleep, you're just a little bit more zen.
Yeah, they've supplied us with some. I'm on week 1 of using their CBD. I'm not going to be like one of these people like it's completely changed the way I feel. I woke up this morning, I can do a cartwheel.
I think Lewis said he's going to drop mine off to me early next week, so I want to do like a full month.
Yeah. And that's what he said. Yeah. So give it 4 or 5 weeks. And he said a lot of... So he's dropped off some stuff to a couple of guys I know. And they said the way they're looking at it, it's not what it's done for them, it's what it's not done for them. In that if they wake up and they don't feel their ailments, like they've been hit by a truck, then that's it doing its job. If they've slept 8 hours and they haven't woke up 3 times that night because they're uncomfortable, because their neck hurts or things like that, and it's almost what you don't realise it's doing that is what it's doing. Yeah, and
you know, Lewis is a sound guy. He used to train jiu-jitsu.
He's one of the... Well, you know that cliche in which someone gets a blue belt and disappears? That's Lewis, isn't it? That's exactly what happened. He got a blue belt and then ran away.
We will persuade him to come back.
No, we won't.
I think we will.
It's been too long. No, I actually, when he turned up at the gym, I was like, who are you?
Oh.
Who are you?
Cutting.
Yeah. So, I mean, none of us can roll now, but yeah, when he turned up last year. No, it was actually Petersfield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When Mardell was doing the stuff at the Lab 99. It was then he turned up and I almost didn't recognise him. I forgot that man existed. But I'm glad they're doing really well with the CBD and the product speaks for itself. Look it up, Plant the Seed CBD. They're a phenomenal company. They're doing a bit differently to everyone else in that, I can't think of the word, it's more
a hands-on approach.
It's a very hands-on approach in that they've done so much research to get the best product possible.
They're not just doing sort of, we can get it from here, that's fine, ship it out with a different label on.
Yeah.
Like the research they put into it before they did it. Yeah. The only thing I can compare it to is like the boys on Black Rifle Coffee. I don't know if you heard that the other week.
No, go on.
On Bro Joe Rogan. So they don't just go, we get coffee beans from there and then that's it. You know, they give a shit. They get the coffee beans, they test the coffee beans, they meet the people, and that's like the research that Lewis has done.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. It's not, you know, he's trying to source the best CBD he can with the best sort of positive results that he can, and doing it gradually, not just growing it organically. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, they're not jumping into the deep end.
No,
they've got the best product possible, and they're slowly pushing it out. And I'm so glad that they're on board. It was nice that when we spoke about relaunching the podcast, and because we sort of treated last year as almost like a pilot, didn't we?
Yeah.
About how popular it would be. It was nice that people requested it to come back, and then there were also other people willing to get involved and support us to bring it back as well, with Gym Buddy, with Fit Stuff, and with Plant the Seed. So I'm absolutely chuffed that they're all on board, and we'll be doing a lot more collaborations with all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about some events. the last year has been
weird.
Yeah,
it's been weird.
Challenging.
Events.
UFC have led the way when it comes to all sport. They were still putting on events when there was no NBA, no basketball, no football.
Every other major sports organisation, even like Formula One, who have got more money than God, couldn't work out how to do it. And the UFC just went, hold my beer.
Yeah. We'll buy an island.
We'll buy a fucking island. But, it's been amazing, and it has genuinely helped being able to just watch some combat sports.
It's been brilliant because, like, almost in a smug way, I've been looking at like football fans. Our sport's still running, yours isn't. They're only just trying to finish the Six Nations now. Yeah. It's like... And it sort of get a bit smug, didn't it? It's like combat sports leading the charge, bitches.
Like, oh, what did you pay-per-view for last weekend?
Yeah, exactly. You got people that have never been interested in MMA and now watching MMA because it's the only thing that's been on.
Yeah, I mean, one more person pronounces Habib as Khabib.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you got a favourite event over the lockdown period?
Last weekend.
Yeah, Khabib and
Justin unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great.
Not just because of for me, the best fight of the night was the co-main. Whittaker Cannonier was unbelievable.
Yeah, which you thought Cannonier was going to win that.
Yes.
Not to brag, but I pretty much called.
Lost a bet on you on that one. Yeah. But there we go. It was an amazing fight. It wasn't close.
Yeah. It was.
Whittaker put on a complete show.
Yeah. I mean, he stuck behind his jab. I'm not going to say he played it safe. He didn't play it safe, but he stuck to fundamentals. His jab he had a stiff jab. He followed it up with clean combinations, nice kicks. One important thing was he checked every kick that Cannonier threw.
Yeah.
And to the point where Cannonier no longer wanted to throw that leg kick.
It was noticeable. Sort of halfway through the second round, just stopped throwing it.
Yeah, and it was a great fight. The event from start to finish, even the prelims at UFC 254 were amazing.
It was unbelievable.
I thought the Nathaniel Woods fight, I thought that was a robbery.
Yep, agreed.
I didn't like that. I know, not we're biased because we're British, because I'm not one of these people that's like, UK, I don't care about...
On that fight, I'm biased.
My favourite fighter is Russian, so and also retired. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
You're right. Give me a sec. Adam's buying an eagle out of respect. Live eagle.
I'm going to buy one of them hats.
And he'll have the eagle on next podcast. So
I'm going to call my eagle Khabib.
All it will do.
Mispronounced Khabib.
Just to annoy me.
Yeah. I'm not one of these people that just gets behind fighters because they're British, but I thought Nathaniel Woods won that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had him first and third round.
Yeah.
Definitely second round, arguable.
Debatable. I know, was it Kenny that he fought? I know he got the takedowns, but Nathaniel was straight back up to his feet as soon as his eyes touched the mat.
He wasn't held down, he wasn't controlled. He was, I think, better stand-up wise. Took less damage.
The other preliminary bout that sort of made me chuckle was old Tai Tuivasa and Stephen Struve.
I mean, that was ridiculous.
Stephen Struve's what, 6'11" or something stupid?
Something like that.
And doesn't know how to use range.
No.
But he's been knocked out with overhand rights more than anyone else in combat sports. And I'm not someone who likes to shit on fighters. Like, I'm fully aware what goes into being a professional fighter. I couldn't make the sacrifices they make day in, day out. Post-fight, the shit they go through with injuries, things of that nature. But fuck, man.
Do you think the fact that he's at altitude all the time affects him?
Yeah, it's dizzy. He goes into every fight dizzy. I don't get it. He's been knocked out so many times.
But Mark Hunt knocked him out exactly the same way.
So did Roy Nelson, I think, didn't he?
Shouts to Roy Nelson.
It's just overhand rights all the time.
Yeah.
Tai Tuivasa, I mean, he's a great fighter. He's like a less refined Mark Hunt. But a great guy, real...
Don't think that nickname will catch on.
No, a less refined Mark Hunt.
It's a long one.
Hey, less refined Mark Hunt.
It's a long one to put in the old tail of the tape.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I like him. Also, he's a good personality, though, doing shoe bombs and stuff like that. I'm well behind that.
Fair play to him.
And he kicked the ref in the face when he jumped on the cage.
That's amazing.
I'm not a fan of that little weasel referee.
He does look like Squeak from Basketball.
He does look like Squeak from Basketball, yeah. So, that was a great fight. The main card was brilliant. Like I said, I agree with you. I think fight of the night was Cannonier and Whittaker.
Let's talk about the main event.
Let's talk about the main event.
Did you think it would be that one-sided?
I didn't think it was going to go any other way. I think a lot of people like to jump on the hype train. A lot of casual fans like to get behind the dominant champion without considering all the factors. A lot of MMA fans were looking at Justin Gaethje because he is this force to be reckoned with. There's a whirlwind that just sort of comes forward.
He's got more refined.
Yeah.
Since Trevor Whitman, if I pronounce his surname wrong, sorry, has done an amazing job of making him a more refined fighter than he was.
Yeah. I don't think it's more refined. I think it's just controlling him between rounds.
I didn't think it would be that dominant of a performance from Khabib.
I did. I mean, a lot of people like to talk up Justin Gaethje's takedown defense. Now, we had never seen it.
No.
But so it's almost like this...
But we hadn't had to.
This fabled takedown defense, this defensive wrestling that was really good. Now, from what... And again, Khabib's like the boogeyman of MMA in that people like Daniel Cormier, Luke Rockhold, that are all much, much bigger than him, all talk about this guy's strength and how strong he is on the mat.
That was the one that, like, shocked me the most. You've got Daniel Cormier... He competed at the Olympics once and missed out once because of a weight cut. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Luke Rockhold, whose main jiu-jitsu partner is Buchecha. Mm-hmm. And these boys are saying that he just dominates us. Yeah. Like, just ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's footage of high-level collegiate wrestlers having a hard time with it, like him tapping them out. And I know they're college kids, essentially, and people will laugh, but these are athletes.
No, but these are boys that go to the Olympics.
Yes, they're full-time athletes. Yeah. And for Khabib to be mauling these phenomenal grapplers. So for me, the fable of Justin Gaethje's takedown defense, for me it was something I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
if he can stuff the takedowns, fair play to him. If he can move forward and attack Khabib and take Khabib out of his stride, brilliant. I just didn't see it happening.
No.
I don't think there's an athlete in that weight class or potentially a higher weight class, even at welterweight, that can deal with his pressure and his grappling.
Yeah.
I just don't.
No, that's the only thing. I would have liked to have seen Chandler because of his wrestling credentials.
I still don't think it would have made a difference.
Yeah, like you say.
I think he's fought better grapplers.
I still think, there was a video that came out shortly, I think like a day or so afterwards, of that exact same back take scramble to mount. Yeah. To almost an S-mount attack to the triangle. Like, that wasn't a fluke. Mm-hmm. He was doing that against other guys at AK, other guys in Dagestan, and I think he's actually got a DVD about, like, his system of high sort of mount attacks.
Yeah.
Triangle finish.
Apparently, and again, it could be bollocks, Daniel Cormier was saying post-fight that was his dad. The mounted triangle was his dad's favourite technique.
Really?
And that's why I went to it. And the other reason was the armbar. He didn't want to hurt Justin Gaethje in front of Justin's parents.
Oh, okay.
So he said, what I'm going to do is attack the armbar. And
to force the triangle.
Before the fight, he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack the armbar and force the triangle.
Yeah.
So he went in with that game plan and just put it on him. And the big thing was that Justin Gaethje was saying, pre-fight, was that I'm not going to take a step backward. I'm going to be in his face the whole time. Khabib was moving forward.
The whole time.
The entire fight. He took some shots, but he ate them like he ate Barbosa's kick. Like it was nothing.
One of the worst referees of all time in charge of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, we watched it and probably saw the tap 3 times before the ref stopped.
We were shouting, tapping, he's tapping.
And it wasn't like an awkward position to tap from.
No, it was very obvious to see.
Yeah, so terrible. But other than that, fantastic main event. So
what do you think about his retirement?
Emotional. Mm. The OCD in me hates it because 29 is an odd number.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen him fight one more time, but I also think perfect way to do it.
Did you see Dana White's statement yesterday?
No, did not.
He's been talking to Khabib and he thinks Khabib wants to go 30-0. And on the night he was emotional.
Against who?
Who knows? GSP would be phenomenal. What a way to end a career. The GOAT status thing. So let's get into this because this has been a hot topic this week. GOAT status.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Cock on block. Who are you going for?
See, for me, and there was an interview with Georges St. Pierre last week in which he perfectly outlined it, in that, especially in combat sports, greatest of all time is so dependent on the current situation. in that you're only remembered for what you're doing now.
Yes.
Yeah. So GSP is still relevant because it's only been like the last year or so that he's come back and retained the title.
Now, do you consider it, because we touched on this last week, do you consider it as athlete or as an all-round person greatest of all time?
That's where some of the debate is, because one of the best candidates for greatest of all time is obviously John Jones,
who likes to run over pregnant women.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, and obviously with the PED abuse and things of that nature, there's a lot of things outside of his performance within the octagon that contributes to his lack of GOAT status. But and I don't think he sees that, because he's been very vocal this week on social media.
Yeah, very.
About GOAT status and how he's defended his belt 14 times, and it's like, but you're also stripped of that belt twice.
He cleared out 3 generations of champions. Yeah. But, like you say, stripped twice, ran over 1 pregnant woman, ran back to get his drugs.
Yeah, drug abuse, PED abuse. I mean, it's difficult. The difference with Khabib is that Khabib has maintained an almost flawless record in the octagon. I'm not talking about his record, he was 29-0, but he barely lost a round. I think that's also...
Has he ever lost a round?
They reckon on record he lost 1 round, and some people think he lost a fight against T.A.P. I don't think he did. I think he's 29-0, and I think he maybe lost 1 round in his entire career.
Yeah.
Now, for that, moving forward as GOAT status, he also he took the title and defended the belt 4 times. He defended the belt against tough competition. Who's it? He beat Ally Quinter to get it. Defended against McGregor. Defended against Poirier. And now Justin Gaethje. So he defended the belt 4 times.
Won it once, defended it 3 times.
Yeah. Against stiff competition, namely one of the most jam-packed divisions in the UFC. In MMA is the UFC lightweight division.
But if you compare it to the calibre of people that GSP fought...
But it was at a different time.
Exactly. But the GSP lost to Matt Serra.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah.
I don't think... Like, it's very easy in other sports to go greatest of all time. Like, Lewis Hamilton, personally...
Fuck that guy.
Not a fan at all.
I hate Lewis Hamilton.
But... He's now got the most wins in F1, most championships, most constructors' championships.
His record.
That, to me, is greatest of all time. It's a very easy thing to... Who's won the most? Who's won the most championships?
Yeah, it's black and white.
It's black and white. MMA, boxing, anything like that, you can't have... It's very, very difficult.
And it's dependent on your achievements at that time. At this point in Khabib's career and in MMA in general, he is the greatest to do it currently.
Yes.
At this moment in time. Now, John Jones has just come off a couple of what could be classed as lacklustre performances.
Yeah, I mean, he smashed Gustafsson, second fight.
But his win against Reyes was questionable.
I
think he won the fight, so I'm a Jones fan.
Yeah,
I think he won the fight. But he's coming off a couple of lacklustre performances. He's now relinquished his title and is moving up to heavyweight. Now, if John Jones goes up to heavyweight and demolishes the heavyweight division, walks through the likes of Ngannou, Stipe, he's the greatest of all time.
That was it. That's it for heavyweight.
But you know what I mean? If he does that, which I'm fully confident he can do, but you're only accountable for what you're doing at the moment.
That time, yeah.
And GSP was the same. GSP, the only reason he is still in question is because he's still relevant.
Yeah.
Even a year after he took the middleweight title and then sort of ran off into the sunset, people are still talking about a super fight.
We're still having the conversation.
He's still relevant.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva
also, he fought Captain America.
Yeah.
So who else has done that?
Anderson Silva for a long time was classed as the greatest of all time. Obviously, tonight is potentially his last fight. He's speaking like it's his last fight.
34-10 is hard to argue greatest of all time.
But what he did again, his performances against who at the time in the stiffest competition, the Forrest Griffins and your Stephan Bonners, that Chael Sonnen at the time
juiced up Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, and he demolished them and made it look easy, and that's why the argument is for Khabib. It wasn't just that he's defended his title 4 times and he's this nice guy outside the octagon. It's the way in which he dismantled. He was such a specialist in that one thing that no one else could figure it out.
And this is in the age of where everyone constantly goes, you can't be a specialist anymore. Yeah. You can't just be a fucking super high level black belt with all right kickboxing. You've got to be an expert in everything. You have. To an extent. But clearly, if you're that good at one thing, it doesn't really matter. I do think there's someone in 3 or 4 years' time that we'll be having to consider greatest of all time. And that's Adesanya. Adesanya will be greatest of all time if he beats John Jones. If he doesn't beat John Jones, he won't get it. That's why I'm saying it's going to be 3 or 4 years. I think he'll demolish the middleweight division. Well, you're going to see Whittaker too. Well, they're talking about him fighting Jan Blachowicz, aren't they? In May. What? No, like heavyweight. What, for the title? Oh, God. That's what they're talking about currently. They're talking about Adesanya because he beat Costa, because he's beat Yoel, and because he's already beat Whittaker convincingly. Yeah. So they're struggling to find a new contender. Like if Cannonier had won, if Cannonier had destroyed Whittaker, it would have been very obvious who Adesanya's next title defence is against. At the moment, there's not really a contender. They all sort of need to fight each other to move forward. So is Blachowicz going to come down, or is he going to go up? Potentially, Adesanya's going up for the light heavyweight. And then obviously that sets up the John Jones fight, especially if he's successful. If he moves up to light heavyweight and he beats Jan, then it's like, well, free division champion. Yeah, drop back down. That's insane. So, yeah, if he does all that, if it all works out how clearly he wants it to work out, yeah, greatest of all time discussion. I personally think if he ever fights John Jones, as much as Adesanya's a phenomenal grappler, I think John Jones wins that fight. Yeah. Money's a motivator, but also shit talk. And John Jones' best performances were against people that he had legitimate issues with, i.e. Daniel Cormier. Yeah. And even Gustafsson. They showed respect after both fights, but there was a lot of shit talk because Gustafsson felt like he won the first fight. Kept bringing up the drugs, the issues, and he smashed into pieces. Yeah, so when John Jones is motivated, and I think that's why he had lackluster performances. I don't think it was anything to do with his ability as a fighter. I think that he wasn't motivated against Reyes. He wasn't necessarily motivated against Santos. So I personally think if he ever fights Adesanya, I foresee destruction. I love Adesanya. Yeah. He's actually one of my favourite athletes at the moment, especially with how convincingly he beat Costa. That was so impressive. Clinic. Yeah. Absolute clinic. Yeah. And again, that's not the Costa we're accustomed to. He didn't come forward relentlessly. He didn't use his size and power. I think he was banking on going into the later rounds. Yeah. And then once Adesanya had chewed that leg up, it was like, that was the wrong idea. But I said that first, didn't I? Because he had the couple on the back of his leg. As soon as he walked into the cage, I said, Adesanya's got a high fight IQ. He's going to target. Clearly, there's something wrong with it. He's going to target. And immediately went to it. And then humped him after he finished him. Dry humped the shit out of him. Dry humped him and then threatened to come on his coat. Just, it was spectacular. It was great, and that was a phenomenal event as well. But I think John Jones is the greatest of all time. I think until he reminds everyone of that, I don't think he should be on Twitter saying I'm the greatest of all time and almost trying to sell everyone on it. Just perform like you've always performed. Yeah. Go out there, destroy people, and then you're going to get it. He's going to be the greatest of all time. He's going to move up to heavyweight. I see him walking through everyone in the heavyweight division. Even Stipe. What, walking through? Yeah, I think he will pull Stipe apart. Damn. I know. I'm brave, mate. I'm brave. I think John Jones destroys Stipe. I think the only person that could potentially give John Jones trouble is Ngannou. Just because of the power. Just because of the pure power that if he catches anyone, I think he could throw a punch past me and it would knock me out. Probably. So John Jones can take a hit, but he's the only person. He's taken a hit and has taken an asteroid. That's what I mean. It's different. And like what he did to Curtis Blades was just fucking disrespectful. Yeah. And who was Rosenstruck? Jesus Christ! All 14 seconds of that fight. It was a little bit rock, sock, and robot. It was ridiculous. He went.
It was almost like he turned up.
And you went,
And he went, I don't want to be here. He just ran forward, starched him. And
someone definitely slid in his DMs before and he's like, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got time. And so, yeah, he sort of just went in there and just put it on him and left. And if he can do that against Rosenstruck, who is a dangerous fighter himself, I don't see any reason he couldn't do that against John Jones. So that's the only person I foresee giving Jones any issues in any weight class.
One thing I do want to touch on.
Go on.
Just watching something just before we started this actually, and they're on about potentially a lightweight Grand Prix. 4 people. Who's got to be in the 4? I'll tell you the 4 they said.
Go on.
McGregor. Yeah, that was my reaction.
Yeah.
Chandler.
No.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Gaethje.
Okay. So
I think Gaethje gets instant entry.
Gaethje and Ferguson, purely because of how much they've done within the lightweight division. Dustin's been knocking on the door for ages. He fought Khabib, alright, he lost. Gaethje's the same. Ferguson never got his chance at the champ. Conor, there's argument for Conor McGregor to be in the Grand Prix because of how much of a superstar he is, but again because of his achievements in the UFC. He
hasn't won at lightweight since he beat Eddie Alvarez.
He hasn't. Of course, because Cerrone fight was at welterweight, 170. It's difficult. I mean, they're going to put him in there because he's a draw. Like, if you want people to tune into a tournament, you put Conor McGregor in.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just how it works. Chandler hasn't earned his stripes yet. He needs to fight someone in the UFC to be able to fight in that. He hasn't.
I'm not debating that he's not earned his stripes, but I'm just saying...
in the UFC.
Just throw a fucking wild card in there.
If you're going to throw a wild card in there, put Oliveira in there.
7-0 recently.
That's
nuts.
He's earned the stripes. Do you see what I'm saying? He's someone that has been in the UFC. If the UFC are this organisation that have the best fighters, that they're sort of the pinnacle of MMA, someone can't move across from another organisation and immediately get a title shot.
Yeah, that is fair.
I didn't agree with the fact.
I'm not saying title shot. I think he should be, just for a wild card, be in that.
There are 4 more deserving fighters.
Dan Hooker.
There are more deserving fighters than Michael Chandler to be in a UFC tournament. If he comes in and he fights Dan Hooker, or he fights Oliveira, or he fights Ferguson, and he beats any of those top 5...
I think it has to be a convincing win, though.
Put him in the tournament, but he hasn't fought anyone yet. He's coming off a win against Benson Henderson, which, don't get me wrong, ex-lightweight champion.
Yeah, ADCC finalist.
But not who he was when he was lightweight champion. That's why he's in Bellator.
Yeah.
And I'm not shitting on Bellator. Bellator's got some phenomenal... I'm not. Look, people like Lima, who fought yesterday. No, was it yesterday? Thursday. Who fought Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the best welterweights on the planet.
I'd love to see Douglas Lima.
Aaron Pico. They've got some phenomenal athletes.
How they dealt with Pico, I didn't like.
No.
They gave Pico too much too soon.
They did, yeah.
They should have brought him up.
Yeah.
But anyway, different conversation.
Juan, I can never pronounce his name, Arctez or whatever it is. He trains with Dillashaw out of that training lab.
Oh, okay.
Phenomenal. He's now a champion. But they've got some brilliant fighters. But, like I say, if you class the UFC as sort of the premiership of MMA, then they're not in contention. So
who would your 4 be then?
My 4 would be Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier.
Yeah. You got to Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje. And then
Oliveira.
I would put Oliveira in there.
7-0.
7-0. Or, like I say, Michael Chandler doesn't even deserve the Conor McGregor fight yet. That's a payday for someone that deserves it. So, for me, Dustin deserves that fight. Ferguson deserves that fight, and Gaethje deserves that fight. Those 3 people, if Conor wants in, he needs to fight one of them if they're going to do a lightweight tournament. Like, have a couple of fights before the tournament to sort of settle who's in the tournament, and then move forward with it.
I'd like to see sort of like a card where the 2 it's a co-main, and it's both those fights.
Yeah, that's what Bellator did.
And then in like 2 events time, depending on damage, That's the final.
That's how Bellator have done their tournaments, because you can't have two fights a night.
It's not Japan.
No.
Chill out.
Yeah, the days of Pride FC in which you'd fight 3 times in one evening are beyond. And you can't use the steroids that you can use back then.
They're on all the sauce.
Yeah. So I'd like to see it. It'd be a great tournament. I mean, arguably you could have 6 people in there. Why only 4? So you could have McGregor, you could have Dan Hooker in there. But Michael Chandler still has to fight someone before he's in that discussion.
Or you're doing 8. You do 8 guys, 8 down to 4, final. Yeah. Do it properly.
Yeah. I'd like to see it. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It would be incredible to see that. And it would be a great weight class to hold that in, because it's such a stacked weight class.
The final, the main event, the Garden of the White House.
Yeah. Trump's an MMA fan.
Jets flying over. That'd be fucking sick.
It would be sick. Like with the fireworks going off and the smoke trails at the Jets, the American flag. That would be sick.
That would be amazing.
So I'll tune in to watch it, put it that way. I don't think there's much else going on in the UFC at the moment that they couldn't easily justify that. But if Khabib isn't retired and he is going to go 30-0, they're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
But again, if he's fighting GSP, does he relinquish his title for a super fight? What weight class is the super fight at? GSP ain't going to cut down to lightweight.
GSP's too good.
So it's struggle city. For us, Harvey said this week he would never go and ask GSP to do a super fight. GSP's got so much going on at the moment.
You would have to come to him for it.
Yeah, it would have to be GSP has made this decision.
Yeah.
And if Khabib's going to do that, they sort of need to announce that soon, because I don't like it when they leave weight classes in sort of limbo.
Yeah.
They did it with heavyweight when Stipe was off for a long time. They did it at light heavyweight when John Jones was banned and not banned. And middleweight's been the worst contested weight class for a long time, until Adesanya took the title and he's successfully defended
Run through everyone.
Yeah. So if I was going to see a tournament, lightweight would be a phenomenal tournament. That's easily the most stacked weight class in the UFC, in my opinion. So moving forward, we've got, what other events have we got coming up? There's more Cage Warriors. We've got Almighty Fighting Championship in 4 weeks in the UK.
You've got
UFC.
Silver Hall tonight.
Yeah.
And then you've got Davison Figueiredo, and the other guy's name eludes me.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
What's the December 14th card? That was, there's a big fight on that. Why is it escaping me? Oh, Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards. What a fight that is. And Leon Edwards is, 8-fight winning streak?
8-fight winning streak. No one really talks about him much.
He flies under the radar, and it's frustrating because he was almost in title contention. He had a fight booked with Tyron Woodley.
And he caught that 2-piece of fries.
Yeah, I know. And then COVID hit, so the fight got cancelled.
Yeah.
And he's been rallying for fights with top 3 contenders and names. Stephen Wonderboy called him out, but he's passed it. And I get what Leon Edwards was saying. Like, I want to move up, not down.
Wonderboy just slammed then.
You can't help it, can you? When was his last amazing performance? Didn't he last get starched by Anthony Pettis, who's normally a weight class below it?
Didn't he do a flying Superman kick or some shit?
Off the cage.
It was amazing.
Starched him. And so Khamzat Chimaev is, again, he's unproven, but he's a big draw at the moment. If people are talking about him.
He said to Dana White he'd like to fight 3 people in one night, which is fucking madness. So he's not Dagestani, he's Russian. Mm-hmm. He's full fat Russian.
Yeah. Full fat
Russian. But he's
no semi-skimmed.
He's no semi-skimmed Russian. So he was Russian national wrestling champion, which I'm sure that's not anything easy to win.
No.
Then he went to Sweden,
and
he's now a full-fat Swedish member of society.
Yeah,
Swedes.
Yeah,
and then he's just starching everyone.
Yeah, what he did to Gerard Meerschaert was just disgusting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was quite disrespectful.
Gerard was on, I think it was Twitter or Instagram yesterday, trying to rally for a rematch.
No.
So you got knocked out in 17 seconds, mate. Just you live with it. He's like, I really don't like that guy. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't like him either if he knocked me out in 17 seconds. I probably wouldn't be his best friend either.
With a jab.
Yeah.
It was a jab, wasn't it?
Jab cross, wasn't it? It was like a 2-piece combo. But Yeah, I probably wouldn't be his best friend either.
How do you think he does against Leon Edwards?
I don't know. Leon's a monster. Leon is an absolute monster. He is the dark destroyer of that division. He's the guy in the shadows. That I think I would have loved to have seen him fight Colby Covington or
Woodley
or Masvidal. That would have been such a good fight. But no one. It's a shame. No one in the States really knows it. I don't know why. He doesn't trash talk. I think that's maybe part of the issue.
I think it's also he hasn't been given the platform.
Yeah, that's true. But the UFC don't push him that much.
But it's because of what you just said. Yeah. He doesn't shit talk. He doesn't call people out on bullshit. You know, he just turns up, does the job, goes back home again, and it's difficult to sell.
It is difficult.
But I think if he has a dominating performance, goes on the mic and says, Masvidal, I want you, blah, 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 you know.
He did it a bit and everyone sort of just laughed at him. And it was a shame. And Chael Sonnen, he sort of said about Leon Edwards, and he also used Neil Magny in the same conversation. They're just not a draw. They're dominant athletes, but they're just not a draw. They don't finish many fights, and I think that's also a factor in that they don't have these highlight reel knockouts and things of that nature. But there's no arguing that he's up there in the top 3.
He's now not ranked, you were saying?
Yeah, they removed him from the rankings, and I think what it was is that
inactivity.
Yeah, he hasn't fought since he fought RDA in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, that was his last fight. I mean, he's had fights booked that have fallen through.
Yeah, because he was meant to fight Woodley, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In London.
Yes.
Just before the lockdown.
Yes.
Fuck you, Boris Johnson.
Literally 3 weeks before lockdown.
At the O2.
Yeah. I was trying to get tickets, wasn't I?
Weren't we all?
But, that fell through. And then he hasn't had a fight since, and people have called him out. And I think the UFC have offered him matchups that he has felt not beneath him, but like I say, you want to be looking forward, not back. So if you're ranked number 3 and number 5 calls you out, unless it's a big name at 5th. I mean, look at this. He's taken a fight with Khamzat. Khamzat's unranked, but because he's such a draw, Leon Edwards knows. Regardless, if Leon Edwards goes out and destroys Khamzat, he's back in title contention.
Yeah, he's sort of squashed.
I've killed the boogeyman.
Yeah. But it could go so wrong.
Yeah, it could go wrong. I mean, if Khamzat comes and takes out Leon Edwards, holy shit, it's difficult to argue that he's in title contention.
That'd be a fuck.
Isn't it?
My only concern with that is it's Darren Till all over again.
Yeah.
Of too much too soon.
Darren,
we had a conversation the other week actually about
Darren Till's not Russian.
Darren Till hasn't looked the same since Woodley dust the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's a lot more. He doesn't really pull the trigger as much anymore.
No,
he looks like he sort of sits back and he's waiting. He's always been a counter striker, but it was almost like he's afraid to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
and obviously when Masvidal starched him in London, that wasn't a good
and
comeback.
Who did he recently lose? It was Whittaker, wasn't it? Yeah, by not a very close decision.
No, Whittaker easily won that fight.
Mauled him. So there's not a huge amount actually booked in and lined up at the moment.
No. We've got even guest fights, guests coming on here. We've got Ashley Kilman's going to come on in a couple of weeks.
Bogner's Alex Jones.
One of our favourites, And Ashley was I think we had him on twice.
Once on his own, once with Joe Moore.
Yeah, when we did the pilot. And he's a brilliant guest. He knows his stuff. He's very opinionated, which I love. And he's fighting an Almighty, which is one of the only shows which is still running events in the UK. So it would be great to get him on in a couple of weeks and talk about upcoming. I know he's training at GB Top Team a lot at the moment.
Brad Pickett's gym.
Yeah, and so he's
Brad Pickett coming on the show.
He's putting the miles in to get the time on the mat. So I'd like to get him on as like a. He's one of the only people locally that's still training. That's still doing everything he has to do to get to the top. He's pro MMA. I think he's 4-0 now at pro. And they've set him up with a really hard fight on this Almighty Championships. James Williams. I think he's Welsh and he comes to bank. So we're going to get Ashley on in a couple of weeks' time. And then moving forward from that, Gym Buddy have got some athletes, a couple of boxers that are going to come on.
I'd like to get Gym Buddy on it as well.
Yeah. That could be cool.
Tell them their story.
That's a good idea. I'm going to try and talk to Aaron and get Aaron on as well to talk us through some strength and conditioning, like when we had Rich Tennant on last year. So we've got some really exciting guests moving forward.
the return of Mad Jack McGee.
Ben Popperton's going to come on when he's in the UK next. It's difficult because obviously we like to talk to combat sport athletes. I mean, there's no combat sports at the moment. Unless we're going to get Israel Adesanya on, it's difficult to...
Well, Dana White's not returning my email.
Yeah,
so...
I'm not opposed to getting Israel Adesanya on. I'm just saying, unless people like that are going to come on that are still able to do their thing, it's difficult. Until we're out of the other side of this COVID bullshit, it's difficult to sort of plan ahead.
Yeah.
So we'll take it one day at a time. I'm glad we're back, and I'm glad we've done another episode. I'm really looking forward to being in partnership with Gym Buddy.
Yeah.
Now we've got sponsors on board. Yeah. You're looking good, mate. And blue's your colour.
It is. Well, it's not anymore. It's purple. But...
So, moving forward, there's a lot of exciting things happening. And, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for demanding that we come back and do another episode.
Yeah.
It's nice that people missed us and wanted to hear from us more.
Not often do people miss me and Adam.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you again soon. Be sure to like, subscribe, DM us if you want to talk to us. We're always on Instagram, Facebook, and if you know a guest that you want to hear from, or if you are someone that wants to come on a podcast, just drop us a message. We're not opposed to anyone coming on. Anything you want to add?
No, mate.
We'll speak to you soon.
Back.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. First and foremost, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Asylum Podcast. We're in association with Gym Buddy. Gym Buddy is a fitness network created to streamline the interaction between gyms and gym users. Whether you're a gym looking for a new revenue stream or a prospective gym rat looking to get in shape, Gym Buddy provides the platform to do so. They strive to deliver an experience that will support users both mentally and physically to become the best version of themselves. Download the Gym Buddy app today.
We are also brought to you by Plant the Seed. Plant the Seed are a family-run business based in West Sussex, providing high-quality, 100% organic CBD products. A company passionate about CBD and fully invested into providing you a product you can trust. Their researched range of full-spectrum CBD oils are made from Swiss-grown hemp and 100% organic sunflower oil. All their oils are 100% certified and extracted using CO2 extraction methods. All products are third-party lab tested, ensuring each drop contains the cannabinoid you need for a healthy, happy you.
Lastly, we're also sponsored by Fit Stuff. Their product range is tailored to suit the modern day individual who wants to be able to improve their body and health no matter what.
Gone are the days of busy gyms waiting in line for equipment or worrying about what other members are thinking or doing.
At Fit Stuff, they understand the importance of being fit and healthy, but they want to make your journey to the new improved you as easy as possible. Thanks again for listening. Be sure to sign into our Instagram, our Facebook, interact with us, follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and we'll talk to you again very soon.